I'll call to order the Corcoran Parks and Trails Commission meeting for July 17th. We'll start with a roll call. Christensen here.
Erzberger here.
Anderson here.
Walsh here.
Nybo here.
Strailer here.
Excellent. I'll invite everyone to stand for Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we got our agenda. Any changes? Any comments? Otherwise, we can try to approve it. Nothing?
Move to approve.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And minutes from last time. Any changes, corrections?
Got one correction, Chair. Commissioner Anderson brought it to our attention that he is not included at the top in the roll call, but is in the rest of the minutes, so we will get that.
Uh-oh. He showed up late.
Right. Yeah.
So thank you, Commissioner.
Okay, great.
My only other comment was, I know Commissioner Anderson has good points about inclusion and the name of Heritage Park. I know those didn't make the meeting minutes. You had some important call outs as far as the name Heritage Park and its kind of the interpretation of like inclusion and.
As I read it, I thought it was fine. It's on the tape.
I will double check.
Double check that.
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Would you like that information included? We can update it. I mean, we're updating it anyway, so.
You're the Vice Chair.
I was leaving up to Commissioner Anderson, but I thought he had some very good points that I think weren't really captured in.
Well, at this point, it's been, the deed has been done. The park has been renamed. And I'll have more to say about that too.
Okay.
Sometime during the
But
meeting.
anytime you do have edits, please, anything, let me know. It can be
I
changed.
think I was here too.
You are, she's in the bottom of the page.
I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's really mad at some of you.
What a mess. Okay.
Well, Tom,
Well, I
Thank
hope
you.
old ones.
I hope I keep doing
Yeah,
everything right.
it's age discrimination is what it is. Yeah.
All right, everyone else, look for your name.
Thank you, Commissioner.
All right, does anyone want to make a motion to approve as amended?
I'll motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, right along, open forum. Do we have any public comments?
I will comment on the park naming policy, so do you want me to wait or just?
We'll wait because open forum is for stuff not on the agenda.
Okay, great. No presentations. Moving on to unfinished business, our park naming policy.
Ooh, I don't know if the microphone's on. Did you turn on the microphone? Not yet. And please state your name and address for the record.
And I do want you to know that you can hear me on the microphone because I'm close, but taller people, you cannot hear.
Noted.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Or it's very difficult to hear.
We probably tend to hear you with all that. It's just really funny. Yeah, I'll be able to hear it. So if you want to,
Just use the playground.
Yes.
that'd be great.
Use my plate. That was good.
It's been 5 years since I did my 24 years on playground duty, but I can do it. Catherine Drivas, 6747 Old Sturbridge Drive, and I want everybody to know, not speeding, I can get here in 4 minutes
Wow.
from my house. I just want to say it's about time we have a park naming policy because it needs to be done. I live in a development that is adjacent to the open space park in the southeast area of Corcoran, and I am tired of looking at the map and seeing Ravinia Open Space Park. So I firmly believe and want to impress that it should not in any case, be named, any park named after a development. And the reverse is also true. A new development coming in next to a park should not be named for that park. So if the land to the west of Heritage Park is developed, that development should not be allowed to use heritage in its name. That implies ownership and exclusivity. So I wanted to say that. I think they should be short, and I really think it should reflect something in nature around that park. So, for instance, the open space to the east of my development is woods, wetland, and I've kind of kiddingly said, you know, Woodland Acres would be a good name, until one of my neighbors pointed out, technically that's the name of our development. So I have to withdraw that. I mean, you know, I looked at that abstract 40 years ago when I bought the house, not now. But I think Woodside Park might be nice because it's woods beside. Again, up where the new boardwalk is. Boardwalk Park might be an appropriate name. And as we develop further west, maybe a meadow might be something to include, or prairie, something that is permanent in that area that reflects the name. And then I think things within the park could be called different things. Like at Heritage Park, you could say, well, the fields of Heritage Park. So I think there are all kinds of descriptors that could be put in. But I just want to say thank you for addressing this, because it's time. We need names on our parks, and we need to be able to say, oh, I'll meet you at such and such a park. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the comments. Want to give us a little summary?
I would love to. Alrighty, so we've seen this a time or two, most of us, sorry. The park naming and renaming policy is really intended to be the framework for naming and renaming of parks, recreation facilities, or recreation areas and facilities, but not amenities. Those amenities are things like the benches, bike racks, trash cans, I think someone said at one point. Whereas a splash pad would also be eligible under this policy. Yes? Oh, you turned really abruptly, so I thought.
Just listening.
Oh, objectives for this, making sure that the park names are easily identifiable and people can locate those parks, recreation areas, or facilities. They should be consistent with the values and character of the area, neighborhood, and city, which I feel reflects Katie's earlier points pretty well, and encourages public participation in the naming process. And if it doesn't include the public participation, it at least considers it within the policy and allows for a decision to be made on that specific to each park. So names should be concise, distinct, and avoid confusion with nearby locations. As part of the process, I did update it a little bit from the previous process just to include some of that engagement as well. So it would start with initiation by either a request to staff from a resident or someone who would like to propose a name for the park, or during acceptance or development of a park. So the commission, you all, would determine what the course of public engagement is. So there were a few different options within the policy itself. There were options where the commission can just provide some options and we can go out and maybe have people vote on it. We can have public engagement for naming submissions so people can submit their own names. You all review it and then council makes a decision. Or you all could provide names and then the public could vote on those names. There are a few different options, and dependent on what's going on, how applicable it is to each park, we can determine that when the time comes, but this gives us some wiggle room at this point to decide that. Beyond that, there would be a public input opportunity and time for you all to review the name or names that were proposed. determine what your recommendation is to council, and then city council would make the final decision. As I said, the policy has been brought back to the Parks and Trails previously. I think this is our third time seeing it. So I'm seeking hopefully final feedback. And I've got two main questions beyond, are there any updates, adjustments? Did I have any typos in the policy that you'd like to see adjusted? Additionally, would the commission prefer to identify a bank of potential names or categories for future use? And would the commission prefer a more standardized process for naming and renaming? So if you wanted a cut and dry, clear process on public engagement, you didn't want to have the variability in what you could do, we can go with one straight process. And then as far as having a potential bank, that would eliminate some of that community engagement as well in that public input, because we could pull from the bank, but that also requires coming up with a bank of names and hoping that they fit for many parks. So at this point, I'm happy to hear any thoughts, concerns, advice that you all have, and update it. Beyond this, it would go to our city attorney for review, just to make sure that we're not doing anything we can't, and then council for acceptance, hopefully.
Thank you. Good summary. Any thoughts?
I think I like the idea of names being very much tailored for the location and what's at that park, so I would not be in favor of a bank of names being part of the
I agree with that.
guidance.
You don't name your kid until it comes out, right? You know what they look like.
That's true.
I thought there was something in here that specifically addressed the characteristics of the park,
Yeah.
like the natural characteristics. Is that still in here?
I believe so. Under objectives, we do have names designated for parks, recreation areas, and facilities should be consistent with the values and character of the area, neighborhood, and city of Corcoran. So it doesn't, I mean, let's say it was in Oak Savannah, and we wanted to name it Oak Savannah Park. We could, but it doesn't have to be Oak Savannah Park.
But we shouldn't call it Wetland Park.
I mean, your call.
Okay.
I work at your direction.
Why do we have this use the fewest words possible? Because like with that, Grand Canyon National Park would be Canyon National Park.
Yeah, but it's grand, and that's a descriptor.
But
You
that
want it to be as short as possible.
Sure,
Concise
but
enough so that,
should use the fewest words possible. Future parks committees are going to look at that and say, well, let's come up with one-word names, because that's what our policy says. Like this here, it says be concise. That makes sense.
Yeah.
change it to concise then?
Yeah, can you just change the
What
wording
line is
there?
that?
Third one under general naming guidelines on the first page, bottom. Third
Should
bullet.
be concise. We can update that.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
And are we the appropriate designator for type of park? Like, is Heritage Park, for instance, going to be Heritage Community Park? Or are we following that our own rule there? That was another one that
It's
kind
already named,
of.
to be fair, so it doesn't have to follow.
No, but it's an example.
Can we vote to rename?
But like, Wildflower Park isn't Wildflower Neighborhood.
Neighborhood Park, no, it's just Wildflower Park.
So I don't know that
Do we want to remove it?
is an important one to me.
Some of these I pulled from other
Yeah.
policies just to get what is standard.
I'd rather,
I
yeah.
like the idea of it, but you're right, we haven't really followed it
Never
yet.
followed that.
Should consider an appropriate designator.
Sure. Like open, if it's, yeah, like I can see the open space park, that being an important part of the name or something. So I think should maybe, I'd rather consider than should.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Let's keep it on there. Why don't we like adjectives? On the second bullet point,
Back in the second page.
east,
Again, I'm pulling
west,
a lot of
big one.
these from other
Okay.
policies, and so a lot of these were very standard in all of them.
Hmm.
And so I hesitate to not include them because I'm thinking there's probably a reason. am not privy to what that reason is, but it appears in so many that,
I think that one's trying to get at things that may change over time. Like there may be another park that's west of a west park, and then your west name gets, at least when I read it, I was like,
Oh.
relative ones should be lower priority because it could be, that's how I read it, but.
Our big park might get bigger.
Yeah, it might be
Something
a
like
bigger
that.
park.
Okay.
Other noteworthy areas that we've discussed in the past, naming approved for an item that has a lifespan, such as structures, equipment, etc., shall expire when the lifespan of the item is met. And then it allows them the opportunity to come back if they would like to name it again, when we get either a new piece or
So
what have you.
do they get first right of refusal then? Is
Yeah.
that kind of how that works?
Yes.
And then is that based on IRS depreciation tables for useful life?
I think
Or
we
do we
established,
have a list somewhere?
yeah, it's like, a playground is generally 15 to 20
Okay.
years. Splash pad, I would have to look it up, but we also.
But we do have something.
We can put something together.
Because someone who has their name on it, and we say after 10 years.
We
never
would
do it.
have that timeline
Gotcha,
predetermined.
okay, good,
Before.
makes sense.
We don't have anyone claiming anything quite yet. Another area, we had discussed substantial donation of money, typically not less than 50% of the value of the property or improvements. The request was to include typically to allow that buffer in case
Yeah.
there's discretion necessary.
The other thing I noticed is in the renaming process, we don't speak to ones that are named for a commercial property. 'Cause that's one of the options for naming it, but we don't speak to it as one of the considerations for renaming. And I think that would be an important one. We talk about if it's named after someone, what the stipulations are, but we don't speak to the commercial name.
Yeah, we should have something similar.
So like the second to last section of the whole document. Third bullet talks about features named after individuals. Fourth bullet's named after location, geographic feature. And then I think there should be another bullet that talks about named after commercial.
So.
Or amorphous ideals like heritage.
I think, so we have it before that. You want it within the process? I mean, the stipulations are in the earlier.
The
part.
renaming. So we speak to renaming about those other two groups, but we don't speak about renaming a commercial named park. The stipulations
Would
for
it meet the same criteria though as the commercial organization naming? That's part of the guidelines, like the general, because this,
I think what I'm getting is that once it's named that, it is not up for reconsideration unless it fits into one of these categories listed in the renaming portion.
Yeah,
of
And there's not a
consistent.
commercial.
The renaming of existing parks.
So like if you name something after a commercial entity, it's been 50 years, we don't have anything in here about.
oh, like a timeline, like a
Yes.
contract for how long they can.
Or just if something happens to that company and we no longer want that name on our park,
So-
we should have a process for,
The same as bullet
Person-
3,
right.
if the individual's personal character was such that it wouldn't be good for the city to continue to use that name, it should be a similar paragraph, just with the institution.
exactly. And maybe it's not, yeah.
Or maybe
Don't want to
combine
scare
it
people away
into
from naming it,
one.
but we want to like say, hey, if there's like a significant change in status or, whatever it needs to be.
You could combine it, parks, facilities, geographic features named after individuals, or, what do we use, corporations? That's-
Individuals, corporations, ideals.
Yeah,
Ooh,
just try to
ideals.
make that.
Because as it reads, it does seem like it is limited to, so we
Individuals.
cannot rename unless it, meets a certain burden, if it's named after a geographic feature or individual. And then the next one down, they may be considered for renaming if they meet, that burden, right? But it doesn't necessarily have a carve out for parks that are named after other things.
So is everyone okay with it going on the third bullet under renaming of existing parks, recreation areas, and facilities, similar to what Commissioner Walsh had mentioned, after individuals, that the individual's personal, well, how did you say that?
You said individual, corporation, ideal.
was
Essentially
trying to-
just adding additional categories.
Yeah, I think I was just trying to match, we lay out what they should be named after, and one of the categories is that commercial and corporate, and we don't answer a question, what's the renaming criteria for that group?
Is there any time that you would allow them to name an entire park? Like, would you allow fictitious Company A to come in and say, this is Company A Park?
Yes, if it follows the criteria.
Yeah, they donated a whole park to us.
Yep, and they have
Everything,
historic,
maybe.
they've been in the community for 50 years.
Let's say,
that-
just for instance, well, I mean, is it okay to drop names?
I don't know, that's why I said
Just make up a
fictitious
name.
Company A.
Yeah.
Just Ryan.
Walsh,
someone-
Walsh Distributors?
Yeah, Walsh Farms, who was established in 1867 down County Road 50. If they were to, say, provide 50% of the funds
The land.
and the land, say, donate a large swath of previous farmland, that sort of thing.
Like if Strahler Farms came in and,
Or Pat Node or whatever.
why, I'm full.
We wouldn't even have to have a person's name. in
Yeah,
it,
'cause we're all getting
so-
old on that road.
So find a way to fit it in. I just wanted to make sure, because if the idea was that we weren't having them name the park and it was just amenities, well then those features have a timeline, so that expires anyways. But if it's the park as a whole,
Aren't we already allowing them to name it, or is that not?
Yeah, it's in the you can with the organization and
mhm.
corporate.
Okay, yeah.
But I want
so
to make
then-
sure that's the intention of the commission, because some people maybe wouldn't want like I don't want to use you now because like,
But go ahead.
So you
good
can,
job.
that's all right.
but like maybe the commission wasn't interested in commissions naming an entire park, but you were in amenities. So I want to make sure that I'm understanding that correctly.
I'm open to being part of this, and obviously the process allows multiple checks for us to approve, and then the council approves, so it's not like, it's not.
They gave the money so they can
Right,
name it whatever they
right.
want.
Yes, correct, because
Yeah.
we do have
Just because it's,
meeting all criteria does not ensure
Yes,
renaming.
yes.
Good job.
so I'm just trying to protect if there's a relation, we do build something, even if it's an amenity, and something happens where we really don't want it, or it shouldn't be named after that commercial entity anymore. that
So
we
kind
have
of
a
like an out
process.
clause, almost.
Yeah, just like you have the individual
Yeah.
one.
So similar to bullet 3,
Yes.
and just use the language you use here, commercial organization and ideals.
Mhm.
So, it's hard to define a corporation's character and personal character, but I think something along the lines of,
Yeah, there's been plenty of organizations that have been defamed, so that would be good to have that.
Like with oil spills or something. All right, other thoughts? I will update, instead of should use the fewest words possible, should be concise. Consider an appropriate designator of the type of park. And then I think just the commercial naming, adding that to the third bullet point.
Or its own bullet point,
Or
whatever's
its
easier
own.
for you to make work.
And then, oh, go ahead.
Well, this is, maybe it's off topic, but to get back to my point, that I think that parks should have a statement of purpose or a statement of intent, which each one individually, which might include a little description of the history, a description of why it's named, what it's named, and a description really stating in really unambiguous terms that it is a park for all, it's a public park for all residents of Corcoran, and, well, it's even public for, I mean, it's really public. Just to be really clear that if, even though we call it Heritage Park, new people who don't have a heritage here are really welcome. Just to make that really clear, and that could go, something that could go, be half a page. It could go somewhere on a park building, or it could be even just in description of the park,
Unlike the website.
unlike the website. Yeah, something that really lays out some of that, our thinking back now in 2025 about why we chose that name.
Off the cuff.
Yep.
What are the thoughts? I mean, at some point, we're gonna have to discuss park signs, and
Sure.
that's not necessarily a tonight meeting, but as we move into that, maybe it looks like, here's the name of the park, and then underneath, Corcoran Parks welcomes all.
Absolutely.
Something
Yep.
to put it right on that main sign.
Yep.
It is very apparent.
Yep.
It could be standard on all of the signs.
I think that's a good idea. Yeah.
Would you go as far as including a call out that we should have a brief description as part of the approved name? That we would agree upon as far as like, there's just a paragraph just defining why we named it this?
I think so, yeah, you know.
I like that idea.
Is that
Can I
gonna be
make
part
a
of the
request
policy?
to staff?
Yeah.
If we put it in the policy, that's gonna hold our feet to the fire, and we don't always have time to like make that a top priority.
What if we use the word should?
That
like
I'm
we do
okay with.
here?
But I
Is that
like
fair?
that, but
Yeah,
I think it's,
so.
I'm just worried that if we don't meet it in a reasonable
Sure.
timeframe, like,
Yeah,
someone's gonna go, well, it says in the policy that you need to have this up there. And
yeah. I think it's important to know, because we don't want
Mhm.
to forget why we named these parks what we do, which will happen.
Because we have Wildflower Park with very few wildflowers.
Yeah.
depends on the time of year. I walked by last week, there was a bunch
Was it
of
a bunch of, good, I'm glad to hear that. I have not been there for a while.
There's still
And
popping.
there's, some of them are not thistles?
Some of them are
Those
not.
files?
Okay, that's good.
I will add that probably under this,
General,
yeah,
Mhm.
as a new bullet.
yeah, I like that.
In the early days, we had some, you know, that there are public parks and private parks in Corcoran. And I think we need to make sure that everybody knows the public parks really are
Public
public,
park.
even though they might be right next to the amenity center.
Something like
Yeah.
that, yep. Agreed.
A point that was brought up by Katie, do we want to include anything about developments and naming, developments not being able to name after a park that's already there?
I like it. I agree.
So like if something came in and developed, to her point, next to Heritage Park,
Yep.
Mhm.
could they be Heritage Meadows?
No.
Or Heritage Landing, or, yeah, right. I agree as well. I think, you know, if someone were to come in and then subsequently name a development after the park, you know, years from now, no one really knows which one came first, right? So then you get to a point where they're sort of synonymous and connected.
Like you said, it kind of
Claims the
shows
park.
ownership
Yeah.
Mhm.
of that, so people might not think it's a community park.
Could we make that one
Yeah.
more bullet point?
No, I agree.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to word it in there, but I'll add something. And like I said, we're gonna have the attorney look it over,
Yeah.
so should any red flags pop up, he should.
We'll get an email.
Unfortunately, that's like a property naming, not a park.
Well, and
naming.
that's why I'm wondering how it could even, because
How it
that's putting a
works.
stipulation on the developer,
Right.
not our stipulation, so it might just be a conversation with our attorney to see where could we go with this?
Mhm.
But we could include something about not avoiding naming parks after nearby developments.
Mhm.
Or vice versa.
And I can double check that that's not already called out, but
I mean, the inverse, I mean, is that something that we can refer to the planning commission to potentially adopt? Or at least look into?
I'll talk to Natalie, the community development
Yeah.
director. She's my boss, so I'll ask her. She runs the planning commission, she's the liaison for them, so we can kind of come together and see what we can come up with. And then subsequently council.
Gun range.
Oh, the private one over there?
Uh-huh.
They have a couple.
I got one.
Oh, right.
Anything else? Otherwise, I would take a motion, maybe, if you guys would be
I guess one more quick note. Right, so,
We start calling it Chad.
Yeah, Chad. Here we go, Chad.
So obviously, you know, it's noted that just because it might meet the guidelines, you know, it still might not be chosen. But what if it doesn't meet the guidelines? You know, if there's a specific, say, you know, it doesn't call out a designator like community park or open space park or something like that. I guess what I'm getting at is, does Heritage Park meet the guidelines fully?
At this point, that doesn't matter because the policy would be adopted after the fact.
Sure.
And I think it would still, because isn't it basically city council gets the final say?
Yeah,
I
they
think
can
we
only
noted that
act.
multiple
Well, they
times, so
picked it, didn't they?
these are just
Yes. they do.
guidelines, I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
I appreciate your passion though.
Okay, would anyone
Did
like
we-
to make
I'll move, yeah,
Okay,
With the amendments I
With
made.
the
absolutely, yes.
and I will second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great.
Jessica, thank you for putting that together, that's really
Yeah.
a great help.
We're getting there, guys,
Yes,
we're
yes,
getting
we
there.
are.
All right, no new business, so let's move on to reports and information, planning project update.
And it does not appear that we have anyone from council on. However, we would be happy to try and answer any questions you have.
Is there anything you should be aware of here? Something
Uh,
that is- That pertains to parks mostly.
The city park remaster, if you look at number 4, that is the Heritage Park. I'll go through that a little bit more in my Parks, Recreation, and Trails update, but basically, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the draft resolution speeding up making the western parcel of City Park a Phase 1 versus a Phase 3 on the comp plan, because we're moving on it, and now it's gonna have utilities, so.
Excellent.
Who's Dwight Klingbeil?
Dwight Klingbeil, he is our planner. He's been with the city for 4 years, I think.
He- Does he go to planning commission meetings?
Yes,
Ah.
and council quite frequently.
Okay. It's hard keeping up?
We like Dwight, he's in our department.
Nice.
And some of these newer projects and developments, I know Vice Chair wants to get updates when there's things related to the Diamond Lake Trail or park funding, things of that nature. Some of them are so new that hasn't been addressed yet, but when those updates do come, we will make sure to call those out for the commission.
Okay, this is number 6, the Larkin Road subdivision or whatever. Doesn't that property come almost all the way up to 50 in the park? Did you remember? Isn't it kind of a big, long, narrow?
If that's the same one that used to be a business park proposal, yes.
So with that, the naming of the park and stuff, that thing's coming right up to the park. They can't,
So it
Well,
looks
I'm
like,
saying you can't name it Heritage. Villas or whatever is a good thing.
so you're just saying, you're noting like, make sure we have,
Well, it's just a comment that, you know, what we just did falls right into
Right
this.
there.
That's the one that's closest to
Yeah.
potentially that being an issue with.
Mm-hmm. And their name of Maplewood, there might be maples in there, but I don't know.
Maplewood's on the other side of town.
Yeah, I know.
That too.
Totally with you.
Hopefully it's confusing.
Yeah, it's just a comment.
Maybe I'll have to name it.
Oh, it's the name of the
Oak Grove or
development company.
Mhm.
Okay, Parks, Recreation, Trails update.
Oh, boy, look at all that.
I swear it's not that bad.
No, you do a lot.
We're busy people. So June 23rd, at the council meeting, council approved the site work, building contract, or the site work and building contracts. Fane is doing the site work and Valent Construction Services is doing the building. That is how you spell Valent. It throws me off every time though. And then also at the council meeting, City Council approved Resolution 2025-64 to rename City Park to Heritage Park. During the July 8th Planning Commission meeting, as I mentioned previously, Heritage Park went from Phase 3 to Phase 1, or the recommendation was to go from Phase 3 to Phase 1 in the comp plan. Beyond that, some report updates. I'm working with the Garden Club. I picked up their mulch fork today, so that means everything has been given to them. It's in the shed. Park planning, I don't know if you've driven by the park, you can see that there have been trees removed. I've gotten some, actually I've really only gotten one email. I know that other staff have received some contacts while I've been out of the office, because I was on vacation. But I haven't had anyone reach out to me directly other than one person. So I'd be happy to answer any questions that anyone has, just funnel them my way. We are taking out ash trees and a lot of grub and buckthorn, and it's a lot of things that just need to come out because they're not healthy for the park. So I'm hoping that if anyone is listening or listens back, please know we are not trying to take out trees that are healthy and great and wonderful. We're trying to clean up the space so that it can live for future years. Beyond that, Diamond Lake Regional Trail, we're working with them with Three Rivers to try and get a reimbursement for a variety of things, actually. A few segments within the city park, a few segments outside of city park, and then also the design of the segments within city park. So working closely with them, and then prepping special events. So we have Night to Unite coming up on August 5th. We have the Bio Blitz coming up, not Bio Blitz, Bio Diversity Dash. Parker will talk about that a little bit more. That's also taking place in August. Country Days is coming up. We have a beanbag tournament as part of that, so if you're interested in participating, please sign up. And then we also have Bark in the Park coming up, which will be taking place at City Park. My final thing for the evening, just a reminder, August 21st, I sent out an email. You guys are all getting iPads, so we need some training. And it's not necessarily for the iPad itself, but more so for it's called Granicus, and that's what we use to do the agendas and stuff, not currently for the commissions, but we will be transitioning into that. So helping make sure that people know how to use it instead of just throwing you to the wolves.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Okay, great. Program coordinator update. What do we got there?
All right, so I started planning the biodiversity dash, and so I created the flyer and the bingo cards for the event. I have 5 different cards for it, so if we have to get moved inside, we have things to do. I also have a puzzle for people to do, that's 250 pieces, and then we have like trivia that we can do as well. And then we posted that on the Corcoran website. Night to Unite began collecting donations from local businesses, and I worked with our CSO Josh to put themes to our giveaways or prize packs. So one example is like a kids type event where there's like Grand Slam tickets for arcade, St. Paul Saints tickets, and I think a Renaissance Festival tickets. And then other project, continue planning for the upcoming Bark in the Park event. Just got different materials that we might need, and then also research. There's this cool website where you can see different, from what I can see, like permanent things that people can rent at the park. So for example, they make like bag toss boards out of concrete, and you can rent the bags. There's kayaks is what they mainly do, but since we don't really have a lake or a huge body of water, that's kind of not for our park, but different things of that nature.
Awesome. Good. All right, subcommittee, Garden Club report. You have anything to report?
You know, Susan Nelson continues to work that garden club really well. So she just sent out a note saying we need help trimming some shrubbery in the garden, and people responded that so you know, it's not very many of us, and we're Some of us are kind of old, but
Not that old.
marching along.
Susan's been doing a really good job
She-
of keeping everyone in the loop and in
Yeah,
the know
yeah.
and getting events planned for people.
Yeah.
She's doing a really good job, and I'd like to help her by getting some of their events onto our See My Legacy page so that people can kind of sign up there if they want to go, provide more of a hub. So
That's great.
Seth and I will be working on that hopefully in the foreseeable future,
Great.
before the
Good.
season is over.
Yeah.
Great. Park Dedication Fund, any questions?
Looks good.
Does this work?
This looks good.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
We skipped over, but we did get the grant for the
Oh, yeah, that's right.
park.
The large grant.
We didn't get either of them. We didn't get the T-Mobile 50,000 one or the DNR one. Sorry.
So we'll try next year.
Did they come back with reasoning for not?
I mean, the generic, we had so many applications, thanks for playing.
Sure.
Do you know who got it?
No.
No, they haven't tell you that either?
I don't know that it's public, is what I can say. I have heard other friends in the field tell me that they received it, but I don't know that it's public yet, so I don't wanna,
No. Sure.
oh, I think we're more worried about the DNR one.
How much was that one?
I had 300 or 350. I think 350.
No.
So that one hurt, but it was it started off a much bigger scope, and then it got more particular with their guidelines, that it became just focused on the playground.
Mm.
And so it was a lot easier to tell a story when it's this big, but then when you're focused on just this piece and you can't really focus on the other pieces because they want you to focus on only what you're looking for. It was a hard one to do. But I think we still have good odds for future grants.
Good. All right, no other business, so I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting. Do we have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.